Good evening. A reduced timetable for ScotRail services has come into effect, with a quarter of journeys cancelled. It's down to fewer drivers doing overtime due to a pay dispute with a number of unions. Lewis Mickey reports.
Commuters at Queen Street this morning facing the prospect of fewer train services as ScotRail struggle to find the staff to fulfil their usual timetables.
I mean, it's just like keeping on top of it, getting up that bit earlier and double checking that the trains are running, but yeah, it's just when it's busy, small carriage, everyone trying to get into work.
My work can be a little bit flexible with me, so I can come in a little bit later, start a little bit later most days, but for people that have got to stick to a strict timetable, it's going to be quite tough really, yeah.
We're going to Edinburgh tonight to see something in the Usher Hall, and now there's only one train every half hour, so we're going to have to sort of adjust our schedule.
Many staff are not working overtime or rest days due to an ongoing pay dispute. On Sunday, a quarter of services were called off due to staff shortages.
The staffs are feeling under pressure. They're feeling that they're letting their passengers down. We care passionately about the railway. We're railway people. However, the economic vandalism has been unleashed on Scotland by the Scottish Government by making this decision. It's just not acceptable.
The reason we put the temporary timetable in is to allow people to plan ahead and to ensure that there's consistency. The teams have worked tremendously hard across the business for the last few days on getting this timetable in place, and they are now going to turn their focus to up-and-coming events and how best we can support them.
With festival season right around the corner here in the capital, there's concern about how these sorts of reductions could impact big events. ScotRail say it's committed to continuing to recruit more staff and to continuing in pay talks with the unions, but say they're restricted by Scottish Government pay negotiation guidelines. Lewis Mickey, STV News, Edinburgh.
A man has been jailed for 12 years after using a dating app to prey on women before sexually assaulting them and conning them out of thousands of pounds. Christopher Harkins targeted women across the country who were looking for love and companionship, scamming them out of £214,000. He's been added to the sex offenders register indefinitely. Ollie Dickinson was in court.
Christopher Harkins had pled guilty to 11 separate financial offences before a jury found him guilty of violent and sexual offences against a number of women over a 6-year period in Glasgow, Lanarkshire, Inverclyde, Edinburgh, Stirling, Paisley and West Lothian. Sentencing him to 12 years in prison, Judge Alistair Watson said Harkins had left a trail of emotional devastation and financial distress in his wake, adding that he abused the trust of his victims and left them feeling ashamed and humiliated. In the case of rape, the judge observed that Harkins had taken advantage of his victim's trust by attacking her while she was vulnerable and asleep.
He showed no remorse throughout for the crimes that he's committed against these women, and the fact that we have now got a custodial sentence is obviously a huge benefit for him to be locked up and off the streets.
The 37-year-old preyed on women looking for love and companionship on dating apps including Tinder, conning them out of more than £200,000. He took out payday loans in the names of some of his victims. In others, he made betting accounts in their name and used their bank accounts to furnish them with money to fund his gambling addiction.
He got these women to feel that they were in secure, loving relationships, and all the time he was manipulating them and basically using them to fund his lavish lifestyle. He was able to control them and have them take out loans and for his own financial gain and to basically fund his lifestyle.
Judge Watson told Harkins he would have received a 14-year sentence had he not pled guilty to financial crimes. In sentencing him to 12 years, he told Harkins he must sign the sex offenders register for an indefinite period and also imposed a non-harassment order, meaning he cannot contact any of his victims or attempt to contact them or be within 100 metres of them. Ollie Dickinson, STV News at Kilmarnock Sheriff Court.
Other stories, and a 27-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the attempted murder of a police officer in Edinburgh. Detectives say the officer was on foot when he was injured in an incident involving a Mercedes car last night. The vehicle had been reported stolen from Gorgie Road 20 minutes earlier, with a 16-year-old passenger inside who managed to escape. The man is due to appear in court tomorrow. Police say 22-year-old Callum Pollock was the man who died after a disturbance in an Ayrshire flat at the weekend. Mr Pollock's body was discovered late on Saturday night in Troon. 34-year-old James Thompson has been charged with murder and made no plea when he appeared at Ayr Sheriff Court. Some of the biggest names in golf are in North Berwick ahead of the Scottish Open, which starts tomorrow. Jamie Bothwick has the STV Sport.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
He's returning home a champion on the PGA Tour, but after going so close in last year's Scottish Open, there's only one title on Robert McIntyre's mind.
This is the one that, as a Scot, I really want. But there's so much that goes into it to actually win here. Last year I came really close, but who knows, I might not get another opportunity like that in my career of playing golf. So I just got to try and play it as another event and give it my absolute best, which I will do.
Rory McIlroy's dramatic birdie finish denied McIntyre at the Renaissance a year ago, and the pair have since bonded, playing the Ryder Cup and in America.
Look, it would have been great for him to win the Scottish Open last year, but he'll have plenty more chances, and he's obviously he's playing well, so he's got another great chance this week. But yeah, to make the Ryder Cup team, to win in Canada with his dad on the bag, and it's been a brilliant 12 months for Bob, and everyone on tour is delighted for him because he's such a good lad.
McIlroy's stunning shot, which broke Scottish hearts and denied McIntyre his home Open title last year, is now memorialised here on the 18th fairway. Tomorrow these two will renew their friendly rivalry when they tee up together for the first round of this year's competition. Jamie Bothwick, STV News at the Renaissance Club in East Lothian.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
Let's hope Sean has some good news with the weather.
Light winds rolling in from the west. We'll be joined by some very welcomed ice creams. TUI sponsors STV Weather.
Very good evening to you. Had a lot of cloud around during this afternoon. Some shower outbreaks of rain. That's the leftovers of that weather front that brought plenty of rain in through yesterday evening and last night. That clears away. Pressure building from the Atlantic over the next couple of days. And if you're watching from Argyll and Bute around Glasgow and Ayrshire, some pretty decent weather in the next few days. Dry, sunny weather and feeling warm too. We could nudge just about into the low 20s in a few spots. Now out there just now, still a lot of cloud around, showers, but most of the showers easing away. It becomes largely dry overnight. We'll see clearer spells coming in from the west. Temperatures staying on that higher side tonight, 13 degrees Celsius. Now to start with tomorrow, across lights of Fife, Edinburgh, the border, still a lot of cloud around, but the cloud will thin and break to give us some brighter spells into the afternoon. Probably the best of the sunshine tomorrow across the west coast, lighter winds, so feeling a lot better in those sunny spells. Top temperatures probably around the likes of Paisley and Glasgow, Cumbernauld up to highs of around 18, maybe even 19 degrees Celsius, so feeling pleasant in that sunshine. We hang on to the best of the weather as we head into the weekend. Friday, Saturday and Sunday across western parts with the highest temperatures and the best of the sunshine. We'll start to see a bit more cloud coming back into the east. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
Our late news team hoping the game doesn't go on too late tonight, or they'll be on after midnight. We'll be back at the regular time, regular duration tomorrow, along with Kellyanne. Join us then if you can. Good night.
Hope you enjoyed See You Soon STV News.